Hi everyone, welcome in a new episode of Stephen's Week, your weekly update on marketing and technology. This week I'm going to talk about a new strategy of AB InBev. I'm going to talk about McKinsey's advice to financial services companies, and I'm going to talk about an insight that the Wall Street Journal published this week. Welcome in this new episode, everyone. This week, Michel Doukeris, the new CEO of AB InBev, he released his new 10-year growth strategy. And one of the most important pillars for his future growth is e-commerce direct to consumer. He believes that today consumers, they want to order a pizza and like 20 minutes later you have your pizza, or with groceries today, you need something, you push a button, you go to Gorillas, and they bring that to your home in 10 minutes. He wants to do the same thing with cold beer. And they're basically building this huge marketplace where retailers and consumers can come together to make sure that direct-to-consumer ordering from AB InBev becomes possible. They're experimenting with this in Brazil. And there it's a huge success. It's really taking off. And of course, we had this digital acceleration in the past couple of months where people just want to order more from their house and have instant access to certain needs and likes that they have. And it's interesting to see how one of those huge consumer brand companies, one of those fast-moving consumer good companies, is now really focusing on the direct-to-consumer path with data, with digital tools, with e-commerce, which is a complete turnaround of their model. And I'm really looking forward to see if other consumer good brands will follow that lead and how it will influence the growth of AB InBev in the next couple of years. In this second topic, I want to build upon what I just mentioned about AB InBev. The Wall Street Journal this week had an article in which they state that more and more big brands are really now focusing on gathering data from the end user. And this is related to some of the decisions that the government is making in terms of privacy. Because of that, it's becoming harder for big tech platforms to connect all the data of consumers. At the same time, we had the new Apple iOS, which enables consumers in a more convenient way to make sure that they don't get tracked anymore by platforms like Facebook or Snapchat. So as a consequence, some of these big brands are really worried that if they only rely on big tech platforms to have personalized data of their users and to send out personalized advertisement, that will decrease in quality and possibilities in the next couple of years. So as a countermeasure to that, many of them are now investing in direct-to-consumer data gathering. And today, most of them are using more traditional techniques like sweepstakes and discounts and all of that through their app, through their sites. But the end goal is to have a rich profile of consumers to make sure that they can go out directly and make sure that they have the data to reach out to their customers in a personalized way. I think it's a good evolution that more and more brands really invest in their direct-to-consumer relationship, have the data, make it convenient for users, and then you can make a difference in the marketplace. The one that really controls the end relationship with the consumer is usually the one that benefits most from growth and from evolution in that market. This week, McKinsey came out with a report where they give their advice to banks. And basically they're saying banks have to reinvent their business model. And it's very much related to the case study that I presented last week in my weekly about DBS Bank in Singapore. What McKinsey is saying is, don't just rely on your own infrastructure, like your website and your branches and your apps to make sure that people come to you. No, turn that model upside down and be where the customer is. Build this API economy, build this API network or ecosystem where you bring financial services to other places where people are. Like we've done with payments, if you go to a store, you can pay there. You don't have to go to the bank to pay for that store. And that's usually what happens now online. If you're doing something on a platform and there's a financial link to it, sometimes you have to leave it and go to the bank and then come back. Try to build as many services as possible inside the platforms where people are and be where the customer is, was the advice of McKinsey in their report this week. So guys, this was my weekly update. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, like the video if you did, subscribe to the channel, share it with others, and I wish you, next to that, a wonderful weekend, and I hope to see you again for a new episode of Stephen's Week in just 7 days from now. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.